trigger warning for people for like gun violence. I love radical revision. And so when I have one of my pieces and I kind of like, make everything backwards, or I like delete every third word, like I think that's so much fun to take those risks. So hello everyone. Welcome to the Young Eager Writers podcast. This is Michael. He's in a car and he's going to explain why he's in a car today.
Yeah, that's the entire podcast. Just kidding. Zodiac side as it relates to your writing. But I will explain why I'm in a car. I didn't actually know this was going to happen because my mom's car needed an oil change. So it was going to take some time. I also needed like some repairs. So I drove the mechanic, drove her back, and that was in the morning. But then I had some meetings in the afternoon, and I had like one window to go and drive her back. So I did that, but then got caught in traffic. So it happens sometimes. She booked a mechanic on the opposite side of town on accident, which also happens sometimes. So we're recording this one from the car, which I don't know if that says anything about my zodiac sign or just says something about me. But
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. So I mean, I know you kind of talked about being a little ignorant. I'm a little ignorant as well. I know my zodiac signs and I know somewhat about them, but I don't, like, some people are so immersed, like they know all of the uh traits, and they're like, "Oh, you do that because you're a Cancer." Like, I don't know any of that stuff. So very curious to see what we discover today. I feel like I'm going to be a little outed, so we'll see what happens. But Michael, what is your zodiac sign?
I am Pisces, but I'm the first day of Pisces, I think. Mm, So like close to Aquarius too. I'm like in between.
Hmm. See, okay, so I'm a Gemini, but I have a. People really hate Geminis. It's really annoying. I don't know. People don't like them. But my moon sign is an Aquarius, which is probably why we get along. So
I like it. I like it. I have no idea what my moon sign. I don't even know.
we'll have to do your, I don't know what it's called, but find like your chart where I think you have to know where you were born, like what city, and then what time of day you were born. And like that tells you your moon sign and your rising sign.
Stick around to the end, and you guys will get to find out my moon side. I do know the answers to the questions, so I guess we could place on a chart. But um, I'm excited for this because there is a whole world that connects zodiac signs to writers and our favorite authors. So why don't we kick it off by talking about some famous authors who may share your zodiac sign?
Okay, I have many articles, which I will share them in the description so you guys can also follow along and read them. I don't know if I'm going to read all of them. We'll see how long some of these are, but we'll definitely get to hours. So I'm actually going to scroll down just to find us. You said Pisces. Oh, I just found mine. Okay, I won't look. I want to do Pisces first.
Yeah.
You must be at the very bottom. Oh, you are. Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna guess it's like a canceled author, or I don't know, someone who's dead. Is it accurate, right?
Okay, well, I mean, you called it, but I'll read it anyway. The friendly Pisces is known for their selfless nature and understanding of the life cycle. They are able to easily connect with others on an emotional level and are known to be the most tolerant of all the zodiac signs. Oh, wow. Pisces born tend to be highly empathetic, wise, and never judgmental. People born under the Pisces sign are more intuitive than others and often have great artistic abilities. Author and cartoonist, affectionately known as his pen name, Dr. Seuss, is one of the most notable Pisces authors. His talent for drawing whimsical creatures and creating rhyming tales began at an early age and later would capture the interest of children all over the world. Yes. So
I think I was right on both, but
you were.
okay though. You know, Dr. Seuss was still a, I wouldn't quite say formative, but a part of my childhood, and I appreciated his works. What was it, Green Eggs and Ham, something like that? That was always there. It helped teach me how to read. Definitely, he had like all the places we go. So I don't know. I like.
I like it. I looking on the bright side. That's good. Um, I did see mine. Let's find Gemini. I'm always nervous with Gemini. Oh wow. See, okay, to inform you, they call Geminis two-faced. We're not two-faced. Some of us are, but like I don't know. I don't think I'm two-faced. I feel like I'm pretty transparent, but the
I'm looking.
two-faced. Wait, what did you say?
I'm looking at one face.
And I honestly, I don't know how people can be two-faced because like it's all of my expressions are so genuine. Like I couldn't hide if I disliked something or somebody. So Geminis, the two-faced Gemini is expressive and quick-witted. They can be sociable and fun, but quickly change to being serious and restless. A twin sign, Geminis are always looking for new friends, mentors, and colleagues. They are extremely versatile and open-minded, making them excellent artists and inspiring writers. Oh, American poet, journalist, and humanist Walt Whitman was a Gemini. He was especially known for his mastery of free verse and his approach to trans ooh, that's a long word. Transcendentalism. Oh, sorry. And realism. Okay, I'm quite happy to get a poet. I feel like there are probably a lot of Gemini poets. I feel like I know a lot of Gemini poets actually.
Really?
Um, yeah.
I I'm a big fan, so I think I, transcendentalism is such a weird historical movement, but there was actually quite a few pretty cool poets to come out of that. So um, that is pretty awesome.
I'm so glad you know that word and what that is because I read it and I was like, I don't even know if I've studied this. It's a movement in poetry or in art?
It's like a general artistic movement, and it was like a spiritual movement. Really, it, not like I say spiritual not in the sense that like it was connected to a specific religion, but it was like kind of more in that way. And I'm no expert on it. I'm saying this off the top of my mind, but to my understanding, it's about like a deeper connecting with nature and more of a simpler way of life. Walden Pond is a place in Massachusetts that is close to that, and there's someone like Henry David Thoreau wrote this huge, massive collection of stories about the environment, and I'm totally forgetting the name of that too. But um, maybe we'll leave them down in the description, or maybe just comment how wrong I am.
I'm like, don't ask for that on the internet because people will let you know. That's okay. So very interesting. I'll geek out for a minute. It kind of reminds me of when I was reading William Blake in college. Was it? No, it was. It was William Blake, and I can't remember who else I was reading. But they talked about like um, with so much advancing with industrialism that so many writers, poets specifically, were wanting to write about the more like natural world and very like Edenic scenes. And so I do remember that. That's super cool. Okay, something to go in and study. Um, I like I said, for other people who are curious about a lot of these, go to these links in the description and look them up. We just have a lot to get through, so if you're curious to know what authors who shares your sign, definitely check this out. But let's move on now. Let's do what your writing style um is based on your sign. Okay, so Gemini came up first and very, very interested. I wonder if this is going to be correct. This is my writing style. Gemini has innate curiosity, which leads them to investigate new subject areas and pick up knowledge quickly. What's more, they have a knack for analysis. These traits make Gemini an ace at writing research papers. But as the twin sign, Gemini has another side to them. Aside from fact finding and analytical powers, they're also quite funny. Humor finds its way into their writing in the form of satire, puns, or witty observations. I am going to say this is very spot on. I'm not saying that I'm funny or hilarious, but I do love using humor in my work. It's like one of my favorite things. And I remember reading one of my pieces to my colleagues, like my classmates one night. We did a poetry reading and they were cracking up at my piece and I felt so much joy. So I'm satisfied with this answer.
That, I mean, it's actually a pretty lovely answer. Like, Geminis out there must be all amazing writers. Maybe not as amazing as Desiree, but still, that skill set would really work. I definitely see you being very funny, like as a writer. You like that. That definitely staying true to me. Like funny in a very particular way, though. It's like, um, it's not like or a fact way of being funny. I feel like that is it's like surprising because it's like, oh, you said it that way. I wouldn't have said it like that. But that's really interesting. Or like I wouldn't have made that observation. But yeah, Gemini's, I can picture that. What I'm curious is like, what is like Scorpio like or Leo like?
Hmm.
Could be like a horror, like a thriller author. I don't know why. Like writing slashers.
Oh, that's okay. That's interesting. So I have a Leo here. I'm really curious. So I'll read Leo, and then I also want to read. I have Scorpio here, and I have Sagittarius. Those are two I'd be interested in. So we can pick one. Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know if I know anyone who's a Leo. Do I? I don't know. Leo is prone to procrastination and often waits until the last minute to write. They thrill to the pleasure. They thrill to the pleasure of an impending deadline. Once they start, which can be a few hours before the assignment is due, the lion gravitates toward over the top statements and an abundance of exclamation points in their missives. Okay, okay. That was good. I like that these are like positive. Like I'm liking it. Um
Procrastination in a nice light, which is uh kind of funny, but also so true. I feel like no matter what your sign is, I feel like writers tend to procrastinate. That's a thing that we tend to do. We tend to love writing, but love talking about writing even more. So, Leo definitely seems like that kind of person. But we like that, and I think every writer gets stressed out. But there are people who secretly enjoy that last minute adrenaline rush of going, I am not sure if this is gonna get done. That mode. So I've done that myself many times. I'm for it.
Yeah, yeah. And a classmate of mine said it perfectly. She talked about how she always did her assignments last minute. And she said, if I didn't get A's, maybe I would learn my lesson, but I always get it done and I always get A's. And I was like, well, that's true. Like, if you always get it done by the deadline, even if you procrastinate up to the last minute, like, then that's how you do things. Like, well, like, if that's how you function, that's how you function. So, okay, I have Scorpio here. Um, I want to see an inquisitive, probing nature draws Scorpio to investigate, reporting, uncovering secrets, or better yet, exposing scandals. Scorpio won't leave any stone unturned in their quest to share the truth, and they also have a signature focus that enables them to dive deep into a writing project, not emerging until the task is complete. So if you guys, if anyone out there is a Scorpio, I really hope you write mystery. That would be super cool if you wrote mystery.
Yeah, I I feel that vibe, or maybe like romantic suspense. I think could be really
Mm.
kind of writer. I I'm into that though. Like I'm into a Scorpio writer. Like if that really is the prototypical Scorpio writer, because I think if you combine that with like some of the spunk and funniness of a Gemini, I'm really into that world.
Right? We just need like a Gemini rising and a Scorpio moon to like, or maybe both of them get together and like co-write a novel together.
That's what I'm gonna tell people when they're like, "So, are you working your next book?" I'm like, "I'm waiting for the moon,
Yeah.
that rising zodiac sign, to have the best synergy with my writing capabilities, and that's the only during the moon." Well,
Okay, so I have Pisces here. Oh, so something interesting that because you're right on the edge, what I've heard is sometimes you might be able to relate more to like you'll relate somewhat to Aquarius and somewhat to Pisces. So maybe in some of these we'll read both of them and we'll see what resonates more. But here's Pisces, the resident poet of the zodiac. Pisces finds joy in penning handwritten love letters for their crush on perfumed personal stationery. Life is a visceral, tender, and imaginative experience for the fish, which the fish is that's the Pisces sign, which is why they tend to use frilly language rife with strong similes and descriptive turns of phrase over concise communication. You got a soft spot, Michael. I didn't know.
well, I definitely can be verbose at times, and I have written my fair share of love letters. So maybe I used to I think because Gen Z internet. Ooh, I don't think like handwritten letters are most of the thing, but I was known as the paragraph texter. And when I first got to college, girls would talk behind my back and say, "Oh, talk to paragraph boy." Like that's what I got called. So not in like a bad way. Like they appreciated the paragraphs, but I would send them, and so that is me. So I can relate to a lot of that.
You own it. Be a paragraph writer. Do it. We appreciate it. Like,
The thing is, like, you don't want to be the guy who sends like 10 texts in a row because that's weird. But if you just put all your thoughts into one, like, intentional, like, well written text, I think can go a long way.
I feel you. I have been both the 10 texter and the paragraph texter. So I've done both of those. So I do feel you. Interesting. Did not know you wrote a lot of love letters. So that's amazing. I'm going to read Aquarius and we'll see how this feels, if this resonates with you. You can count on Aquarius to write anywhere but at their desk. Odds are you'll catch the water bearer at a coffee shop, filling up on caffeine while furiously typing away about the injustices in society or the lack of recycling bins at the office. This social justice minded sign can write prolifically only if they are passionate about the subject. How does that feel? Relatable?
Definitely, like, can only write prolifically if I'm passionate about the subject. The desk thing, I used to only write at my desk. And now I feel like because I'm traveling a lot more in college and everything, I don't write at my desk as much, but I still writing at my desk, like for sure. So I relate to that aspect of it. But for sure relate to wanting to be passionate about what I'm writing and getting passionate about like the causes that I'm or the messages, the themes. I write fiction, so I'm not like out here like trying to like write like op-eds or anything like that. But in the fiction that I write, I deeply relate to their process, not the location though.
I realized between the two of these, what a great balance you have between the Aquarius and the Pisces. Like, you have this poetic, romantic side, but then you have like that passionate, driven side. That's a really good combination as a writer.
Kind of like the guy from You. He's passionate, but then he also can just kill you. And I am as a writer, I like to bring my readers in. I like make them feel safe and comfortable. Um, then, in a fire of passion, I take them away from their desk, and instead of coffee shop, I bury the character's body at the bottom.
you know, I know everyone likes that show, but I heard about it and I was like, I don't think I'll watch it. And my sister watched it and she was like, I love it, you'll hate it. And I was like, cool, that's enough information for me. But I get the gist of it. Amazing. I don't think you're like the person from You, but I do appreciate the metaphor. Um
The Pisces
okay.
is a metaphor.
We have now writing advice based on your zodiac sign. I like this one. I'm curious. I haven't read any of these, so hopefully this gives some good advice. We'll scroll down and we'll find yours first. Okay, I will read you Pisces. Oh, so the way this is these are quotes from other authors, and then it explains kind of what the quote is. So they're super short. But this is a quote from Carmen Maria Machado. Write where your interests take you. Don't think about the other stuff. Pisces are intuitive, and this will appear in your writing. Let your intuition guide you. Believe this quality to make your writing better. It's for Pisces.
I mean, I think that that's something that is true for me, but I also think for every writer, with thinking about like your own passion desire, I think a lot of times we question the voice in our head. We question ourselves a lot, and
Mhm.
but I think part of like getting into like the flow state as a writer and really being able to like see that progress in your draft, like really feel like you're in the process of writing is actually trying to let that voice go. And that does oftentimes mean kind of letting maybe your intuition or that inner storyteller guide you. But I do think that's where like the beauty of it will come out. And of course you can edit later things that might not be exactly what you think is best for your work, but I think in the moment there's a beauty in just letting it all come out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, we can get so bogged down by trying to make something perfect, and let me tell you, it totally just drains the inspiration. Like, you want to just go. You want to just write and you just want to be in the moment. Like, whatever you create is what you create. And so just trusting that when you create something and when it really feels right, that you're doing something magical. But you're right, yeah, we really should listen to that voice. I'll read you Aquarius as well. So this is a quote from George R. R. Martin. um, the more you write, the better you'll get, but don't write in my universe or Tolkien's or the Marvel universe or the Star Trek universe or any other borrowed background. Every writer needs to learn to create his own characters, worlds, and settings. Listen to it says G.R.R. Martin, G.R.R. Martin, and let your creativity flow. Aquarius can create different worlds like no one, and this will make your writing unique.
I really resonate with that. That's I think the part of writing that I like the most is being able to world build. But I also think for like all writers, it's sometimes helpful to think of yourself as more than just a storyteller and someone who really is a world builder because you know anyone can anyone can tell a story if you have all of these ingredients kind of there in the cabinets. And it's still difficult because there's no instruction manual to make a great story. It's still very, very difficult. But if you are able to like kind of create the structure of the home to begin with, I think that's really valuable as a writer. And it's why you see some like universes really kind of become these sorts of franchises, these places where people create tons and tons of fan fiction. The things that the movies can be made off of, they tend to be like works that are really focused on world building. So I think as a writer, it can be a really useful skill for any genre. Like you don't have to be writing like your own brand new world, like in fantasy or science fiction. But I think making a fictional space, even if it's set in the present day, set in a very realistic world, making that fictional space you're creating feel real and feel expansive, like there's always one stone left unturned, is very important as a writer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do want to make a comment too to say that for the people out there who are writing fan fiction, like I know you are actually directly writing in the world that other people have created. Um, but I think one of the things that's really important is making that your own. Like I think Martin's point is don't make a world like me. Don't if it's not genuine to who you are as a writer. Like you got to build your own world. You got to have your own characters. Um like and even if you know if we're going to talk about writing fan fiction, like even though the characters may be borrowed from other people, like you are making those characters your own. And so I do think that's really important. Like have your own voice and really stick to it as a writer. Kind of back to that intuition thing. Like you just got to follow your gut with a lot of these things. So yeah.
Completely
Um say that one more time. Sorry.
agree.
So for Gemini, we have a quote from Toni Morrison. Um, it's that it's that being open, not scratching for it, not digging for it, not constructing something, but being open to the situation and trusting that what you don't know will be available to you. It is bigger than your overt consciousness or your intelligence or even your gifts. It is out there somewhere and you have to let it in. Geminis can contain a multitude of worlds in their heads. Not be afraid to be open and expansive. Let this energy flow to your writing and you see the magic happen. I very much resonate with this. I have said so many times, my team has heard me say it. I am scatterbrained. And the reason is because I have so much going on in my head. And that's especially true when writing. Like, and that's even like, I'm all through my teen years, I wrote multiple books and multiple stories. Like, I couldn't just have one thing that I was working on. It's why I love poetry because I can have all these different poems and I can write a poem this morning and write another one that night and edit another one in the evening. And so I totally get that. And like, I think being able to expand not only on just like the projects I'm working on, but also like within my world and like take those risks and do things that I'm a little bit afraid to do, whether I'm like worried what people are going to think about it or worried that maybe this isn't the right way to do things. Like, I love radical revision. And so when I have one of my pieces and I kind of like, make everything backwards or I like delete every third word, like, I think that's so much fun to take those risks. So I like that was a good one. That was a good quote.
Yeah, Toni Morrison, anything I am a huge fan of. So I think I can more with like just trying to embrace that things can be chaotic and uncertain in the world, but also in your mind. And there's a part of like writing that's just about channeling some of that and knowing that like there might not be a clear direction or a through line and allowing yourself to explore creatively in different ways. And for a lot of people that might mean like like you maybe have a draft of keep coming back to, Maybe you also write poetry. Maybe you write some blog posts here. Maybe you like short stories or flash fiction, or I mean, there's a million different things out there. I myself have found too that like by as counterproductive as it seems, like by working on multiple projects, it doesn't mean like multiple of the same projects, but like multiple like different loosely interrelated projects, I actually like feel more rejuvenated and inspired creatively. And that's it's been a really interesting finding.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I love that we're sharing these together because I think that while they do apply to us like our zodiac signs, we're still picking up things from both of them. Like I think this is just good writing advice for whoever you are.
I I definitely think there's something to learn from every writer who has like some insight to share. And not all of it might be applicable to you. You might not resonate with all of it, but it's really interesting to reflect on.
Yeah. Okay, so so I have so many articles, but I think we'll do uh at least one more, maybe two more if we have the space for it. But I have one that is who your favorite author is, or I'll give you the real title. The famous author you need to be reading based on your zodiac sign. So let's see what we got. Um okay. Okay. I actually have an author I have not read. Um Salman Rushdie. Have you read
Oh my,
Rushdie?
am I freaking out like in a real way, or did they like get shot the other day?
What?
I actually I like feel bad saying it because I'm not 100% sure. Because like I like read an article and I'm thinking it's this author because I haven't read a book by them either. But I thought they got shot in New York City.
There is stuff. What? Oh.
Is that real? Like I hope cut this out if I was wrong.
Oh my god, you were right. Attacker.
Yeah, or maybe they got stabbed. Something I don't know.
I think they got stabbed.
Well,
What?
saying
How crazy did that like yeah, like these reports are from 2 hours ago, which I guess when this video comes out, it'll I think it's coming out in like October. So this will be old news by then, but crazy. Like
I think
wow.
to my knowledge, like they recovered ish in a hospital. But yeah, they were on a book tour, and literally, like while they were on stage, it looks like the attacker got them. So it was a political statement about their more. It was like a politically slash like socially driven attack against the author. It was obviously it wasn't like a random stabbing. This was targeted, which is really really scary as an author. So yeah,
Wow.
I,
I'm
I
kind of speechless. Like that is terrifying. Wow.
it's
Okay.
like authors are supposed to be able to have a platform to be able to share their views and ideas about the world, and not everyone has to agree with it, but it's supposed to be a safe space that we can at least entertain the conversation. Um, and obviously there's certain people that might not deserve amplification of their own voice, and we could maybe posit some of them. They're not very nice people, but you know, that still doesn't mean that they should get stabbed, even them. And certainly someone who is having their voice amplified in a way in which they're on a stage and is, delivering a message that is resonating with an audience. Like it's largely a beautiful thing, and never should they be stabbed. It's like it's one thing to hate on someone on Twitter, it's another thing to like hate on them in real life like that. So it scares me as an author because it feels like we are increasingly living in a world in which like it's it's just not very safe, and it would stink to have like the absolute best day of your life, maybe not your best day of your life, being in front of your readers at a book signing, you know in New York City of all places, and then that's when someone decides to ruin it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so a trigger warning for people for like gun violence. Also, I know this is a very controversial topic. I'm not gonna like look, if people want to ask me my opinions on it, I will gladly share it. But just for this conversation, I'm even afraid to be a college professor. That is insane to me. That I don't know if I've talked about this. I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I there was a shooting at my college. I think the semester after I graduated, thankfully, but I knew all my professors were there, my friends were there on campus. It was terrifying. And then we had a active shooter warning at the school that I was employed at, that I was teaching. Again, on the day that I was not there, I think I was sick or something. Um, and it's insane to me that like all I'm doing is going in and educate. Like I almost didn't apply for teaching jobs that following year because I didn't want to be in the school system because I'm terrified. Like, and it's just it's crazy to me like to think that there are all these situations that keep coming up. It's like what career can I choose? Or like I'd rather just be in my house all day because I don't want anything to happen. So it's very 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 scary. So oh, yeah,
That's
fun.
what the author recommended uh, for Gemini. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I should also like read it. Like there's a paragraph about it. Like, okay, is there anything more on brand for Gemini than writing a book so controversial that they have to flee the country? Okay, obviously I know nothing about this author. I need to find out. Okay. Rushdie was born June 19th, 1947, making him an innovative Gemini author. Rushdie is known for his inventive, dexterous prose, his sharp wit, I like that, and his strong opinions. Any Gemini will find a kindred spirit in Rushdie's linguistic gymnastics and his wide-ranging novels. Bonus authors, Kincaid and Orwell, who I've read both of them, I believe. Um, Actually, I don't know if I've read a complete work by Kincaid, but anyway, it's safe to say that Geminis are not afraid of talking trash about the government. I mean, no, I'm not, but um, let's find um, okay, for Pisces, Jack Kerouac, which I never know how to pronounce his name. Is he problematic? Sure. Why is it such a start? Is he problematic? Sure, but he also has a lot of feelings. Jack Kerouac was born on March 12th, 1922, making him a poetic, deep-feeling Pisces. Like a true Pisces, he's able to travel all across North America and still mostly just talk about his own feelings. But for all of his philosophizing, Kerouac's prose is exuberantly beautiful and certainly enough to ignite any Pisces wanderlust. Also, Victor Hugo and Dr. Seuss again. So,
Oh wow, I didn't know Victor Hugo was a Pisces. I love The Miserable. It's a great book. Recommend it to anyone. Also love On the Road. I think Jack Kerouac. I don't know. Sorry, he's a really cool author. I've like thought like the idea that like he actually lived a lot of what's in On the Road. It like blurs the line between like fiction and real life. Like we just don't know. Like it's branded as a fiction novel. It is fiction, but it also is like semi memoir, right? It's semi autobiographical. So that's given him like a huge amount of um like just legend over the year. Like the people talk about him, and I remember going on my road trip that a bunch of people talked to me about it. So that's really funny that like he's also Pisces. I didn't know that, but we both ended up going on road trips, and we're both writers. And I spent like several months traveling North America. So yeah, I can relate to him on the philosophizing and making the trip about your own emotions. I think we share in that.
right? I think that was so spot on. Like that's so perfect. And it's so I mean, it's really cool I think to have that immediate connection already to be like this person's also my zodiac, but then to know that that person had very similar experiences to you. So, that's very very cool. That was fine. So I did have two others, but videos kind of getting lengthy, so I will put them in the description for people to check out. And then also, if you guys want to see your own zodiac signs, if we didn't get to them, um, you can also check those out. And like, I don't know, put it in the comments. Let me know. I love to hear about this stuff. I love to learn more about it and kind of just educate myself. And let me know if you guys think it was accurate or inaccurate. So, yeah. Michael, I'll let you get home. Thanks for podcasting from your car.
No problem. I loved it. Thank you, everyone. And hope everyone has an amazing day writing.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.